over a year ago when I saw a couple videos. One of the videos was by DIY Perks. It's titled Building a Next Level Camera. When I saw this video, I just thought it was the coolest thing that I'd ever seen. I don't know what it was about it, but it really caught my attention. This was more of a redneck version of that project. There's also a great, really well-made video on the Media Division YouTube channel. So this is the project. What do you think? The heart of this project is a projector lens, an old vintage projector lens. Charles Bursler Company, East Orange, NJ USA 14-inch EF Series 3. Has some interesting characteristics. So one of the things that added a challenge to this project is I decided early on that I would only spend the money that I used to purchase the lens, as well as a Fresnel lens that helps make this camera system possible. So everything else I decided I would do with materials that I already had or that I could get for free. There's reasons for that. I'm cheap. I'm a cheap person. And I felt like it added an extra challenge to this project. You can kind of tell what's happening by looking here behind. So here, can you see that? So the goal is to capture this image right here. To be able to see and use that image that you're seeing. It just really has a very shallow depth of field, meaning that only a tiny bit of the image is in focus while everything else is very blurred. So this is the image that I wanted to capture, but there's a lot of light pollution. You have to close it off. And then I also wanted a tripod so that I could move this camera around. I could actually turn, look, pan, and tilt the camera, move all around. And so it became a very difficult challenge to figure out mechanically how I was going to do this and how I was going to do it using materials that I already had. So with that image in mind, so let's break it down. So like I said, I love budget ways of doing things. And so this lens housing is actually a bucket, 5-gallon bucket. So on one side we have the projector lens, and then over here we have the Fresnel lens, which helps. So the projector lens projects it onto this, and then this allows the light beams to travel basically directly forward, so that as you zoom in and out, the picture doesn't get larger or smaller. It stays pretty much consistent because the focal length of this Fresnel magnifying lens is pretty close to the 14 inches, which is what this projector lens is, a 14-inch. The focal length is also 14 inch. So there we have a bucket, cut a hole in the bucket, put a piece of wood, and then made a tight fit for that projector lens. So even that I think is kind of cool. So let's set this aside for a second while I work on assembling this table. This box has a screen on it, and this screen is just made out of Walmart plastic bag. I think I'll be using this as the platform to put the lenses on. I want to modify this table, smooth turn, and that's what I'm going to be using to pan. Pan is this way, tilt is this way. This is actually built out of a wheel hub assembly from a car, and so it's pretty strong. I've drilled some holes in it so that I can bolt the mechanism that I'll be using to tilt the camera up and down. So here is the system that I'm going to be using to tilt. It's not as smooth, but I still think it's kind of cool. You might say that this is overbuilt, but I had the bolts. Do you see what's happening here? So this was made out of 3/4-inch plywood. These are just small scrap pieces that I cut up and made a joint with a bolt through it, 3 pieces on top, 2 pieces on bottom, some spacers, and then attached that to this larger piece that I could bolt down to the other table so that it makes a pretty secure joint. I should be able to get some epic shots if I can figure this out. Put a couple nuts on these bolts to make sure it doesn't go anywhere. You can see this is going to be a big camera lens. Everybody's always like, oh, I need a nice, like, compact camera lens. I want the lens to be smaller. Oh, this lens is 2 pounds. This is like a 100-pound lens. Watch this. Yard sale score. Isn't that cool? Family's back.
Daddy,
I missed you too. I missed you too. I have a great life. Okay, so this is supposed to be the mechanism to allow it to slide back and forth. There's a gear on this side, and I put this together using scrap bike materials, chains and gears, and some roller skates that I'd purchased because the wheels turned really smooth, and I thought maybe I could use that for a project, and this just happened to be the project. It has some issues, the chain slides off. Let's just try to put it together and see what happens. Little notch right there. For this part of it, this is a what I'm doing channel, not a how-to channel.
You made that?
Yeah.
That's dirty.
Let me show you what's happening. So right here, you can see that I made that cut in the table right there so that this gear would fit in, but the chain needs to also fit. So I need to make that a little bit wider so that this can turn freely. It's gonna go up over this, down under the gear as a way to keep the chain tensioned, because if I just ran the chain along the top, which I tried to do before, it just slides off too easily. So this helps the chain have to travel around the gear. That's what's gonna move this table forward and back with this part right here, and then I'll hook something to the gear over here to be able to mechanically move it back and forth. This is a platform that's going to slide back and forth. I think to be an artist, to be a creative, you have to be a little bit obsessive about what you do. You have to be a little bit crazy. Otherwise, why would you spend the time to do these kinds of projects? Just a little piece of wire to connect this. All right, moment of truth. Ah! That's what always happens. The chain slides off. Okay. Well, I'm still gonna tack it in place. Man, it just doesn't stay on the chain. That's very frustrating. I don't know what to do. The chain keeps sliding off. Maybe I need to like build a channel or something to keep the chain aligned. And when the chain falls off, then it's a big pain to put it all back on. And without that, I can't hook up another chain and gear on this side so that I can control it from over here. But if I have to keep removing this to put the chain back on, it just doesn't work. So in my head, it just works so easy. Oh, there's gonna be a chain that goes through and it'll pull it back and forth. But then in the real world, things work differently. Things don't work exactly as how you imagine them. All right, let's see. But I also put together as part of this project that I thought would make the lens even cooler. But the idea is that this would actually make it a tilt shift lens. And this would be attached to the screen, the projecting screen, and that way you can move this to different positions so that you could change the field of view to travel in one direction. It's kind of an interesting effect. These are the types of lenses that are used to make cityscapes look like miniatures. The depth of field being so shallow, I thought it would be a really cool feature. So for this, I just used a hinge, a screw, so I could tilt it this way and up and down so that you can tilt the screen any way you want to change that field of view, make it a tilt shift lens. So I think what I need to do is do another version of this, build a box for it, and I use a rail system like you'd have in a normal drawer to slide back and forth instead of this system that I have with wheels, because the rail system will be very controlled back and forth. This system, the things are sliding all around. Even if I built walls, I mean, maybe that's what I need to do, is build walls to keep it on track. But I think if I had just a drawer system where it just slides back and forth, that would fix the issues that I'm struggling with. I think that's what needs to happen to make this project work. I'm gonna take this off, so I'll just have it be kind of like manual focus where you actually have to take the box, move it back and forth, and let's just see if we can't get some shots to show a tricky project. I mean, it's fun to try to figure it out, but it is difficult, and it has been tricky. I mean, I just want to get the project out there. Maybe you guys will have some suggestions on how to do it. And I'd like to do it, another one, actually making plans for it, building it, you know, purchasing the materials that would be the ideal materials to maybe be able to make a couple of these, then maybe sell them on eBay or something. I think it's such a cool thing.
Yeah, it's good.
Let's see if we can take this outside.